2. De Decker has the advantage, thrown first in this one. Rob Malarkey has jumped in the commentary box at the expense of Paul Nicholson, who's had to go and have a lie down after getting far too excited about all the Hannah Schneer shenanigans.
Yeah, 24 years old, Mike De Decker. He does seem to have been around for a long, long time. But as you say, Dan, he's certainly been making the most of this new ruling this year. This is his 5th European Tour event of 10 so far in 2019. He's not won a match once he's qualified. He's been beaten in the first round on all 4 previous occasions. And the bookies would suggest that a similar outcome is in store today for him once again. Given the
60.
rise and rise of Chris Dobey over the last 2 or 3 years. And a player with great credentials, certainly finalist in Denmark recently, as you said. And also up to 25 in the world rankings right now. So Chris Dobey in position now to just really capitalise on all the hard work that he's done to get where he is now.
Yeah, we've just seen him make his match play debut after many years of trying to get 77. There. He only managed to win 3 legs once he got there, unfortunately for Chris, but he did lose out to the guy who went and won the title in Rob Cross in that fascinating clash between the exciting young up-and-coming tyro Chris Dobey, 29 years old, and the experienced grizzled veteran Rob Cross, 28 years old.
53, 164.
Decker doesn't go the bullseye route for the 93, so just sets himself up. And he's not going to be made to pay by Dobey.
97, I require 40.
A chunk off that.
Tops here for De Decker is found. 1-0 he leads. I said it seems like he's been around a long time. I suppose in many ways he has. He made his European Tour debut as an 18-year-old. He only picked up a set of darts for the first time when he was 17, I'm led to believe.
Yeah, and he got success very quickly, as you say. A Belgium national champion 5 years ago when he was a teenager. Winning development tour titles. He's won 4 of those now, I believe. Mike De Decker. Yes, 4. A couple in 2015, one 2016, one 2017. And that's why people have looked at him. I mean, Jeffrey Desvaughn has won 1 or 2 development tour titles.
100.
And so when you see that Mike De Decker has won 4, then you think, well, hang on. You know, they don't give those away. You've got to be good to go and win those titles. He just hasn't been able to translate that to senior darts. He hasn't made that next step. Whereas somebody like Jeffrey has, who's won senior titles, made a major semi-final, of course.
Well, the Decker's trouble was that he did have a tour card, but he failed to win it back in January of 2018. And he's in this process now where he's essentially trying to rebuild his career. Now, the stuff he's been doing on the development tour over the last 2 years suggests that he's going the right way about it. But
yeah, this will be his last year on the development tour.
I was just going to say, time is running out for him.
98, 164.
Stepping stone is concerned. Breezed through qualifying last night, though.
88.
In the qualifier for the players without a tour card.
Another one in there to rescue this leg and level.
130.
De Decker has a great chance to break here. 76 for a 2-0 lead. Double 18 for De Decker.
40. Requires 16.
Let off for Dobey. 3 darts in hand, looking at double 8. You fancy it's going to go, although that's not made life easy for him.
Ooh. That's obscured a bit of the northern part of that bed.
No score.
And that made life difficult for Chris Dobey, who grimaced as he lined up that 3rd and final dart. De Decker inching slightly closer,
18.
but he's overpitched that one as well.
Requires 16.
4 missed darts at double 18 for a 2-0 lead for Mike De Decker. You suspect he won't get away with this one now.
Dobey, he will never, ever look rushed. He won't look hurried. Got lovely rhythm to his game. Just gave himself an extra heartbeat or 2 there before throwing at double 4.
100.
Managed to find the target. So an early chance goes begging for the real deal to establish a decent lead in this match. Another grimace from Dobey, who doesn't seem entirely comfortable with how he's lobbing him into the board.
59.
Winner of this one will face the Ferret, Johnny Clayton, a former winner on the European Tour in Austria, of course. Got himself a lovely jacket.
59.
In the Austrian Darts Open in Graz last year. Two more Austrians to come tonight. Christian Girdle faces Jeffrey Desvan, who we've just been talking about. Roby John Rodriguez up next against Josh Payne. And then Kyle Anderson versus Stephen Bunting in what could be the game of the first round, with a winner facing Michael van Gogh. Doesn't like the lie, doesn't like how his dart is stuck in the board there, Dedeker, which is why he moved down to the 19s to bring some good effects. And you have to say that he is outscoring Chris Dobey in this match so far. Dobey has not got his range on the trebles at all.
Yeah, and Dobey, I think, is just hoping now that Dedeker fluffs his lines on the doubles once again. 4 missed darts at double 18 for a 2-0 lead. There is Dimitri van den Bergh, safely through after his victory earlier tonight against Mark Webster, 6-3. Dobey applies some pressure. Dedeker now looking at double 8s. Missed darts at double 18 and now missed darts at double 8 here for Dedeker, but he just finds a way through with that third dart, earning a little nod of approval from Dimitri van den Bergh.
Well, Chris Dobey, at least he's pinged in a 180 there, so he has reminded himself where the treble 20 is, because it's not like he's playing on a Yorkshire board for the first 3 legs of this.
93.
There it is. See, that one was so far off, it stopped him dead in his tracks. He's just not got the rhythm, not got that flow to his game that we associate with Chris Dobey.
125.
Maka didn't look too impressed with that either. Not sure why.
100.
Has he been there all day, or has he moved from that chair? The camera does seem to pick him. I mean, I know he's got a big stable, but
well, he does
seem to have spent the
103
large part of the day sat in that seat.
And given the lighting in here and Macca's unique coiffeuring job, he is easy to pick out.
87.
There he is.
Told him time and time again, don't smile at the screen, smile at the camera, Maka. It's quite a simple thing, really.
He's no Cullen, is he? He doesn't understand how cameras work.
80.
Dedeker. 60
74.
on the floor. You would have had 3 darts at double top if he's allowed back. Dobey 33 off, leaves 41. Double 16 it is then.
42.
Now that dart falling out the board could really hurt Mike Dedeker. And it does now, because he would love that one to fall out, because he'd still have a chance of winning the leg.
Stamping on the floor.
36. requires 32.
There we go. He's got the hang of it now. Double 16 for Dobey to level things up at 2 apiece.
He's on a full flag.
That's exactly what he's done. I suppose his run to the final in Copenhagen had, you could argue, been on the cards, because in the previous 3 European Tour events he'd played in, he was beaten in round 2 by Premier League players. As Dedeker returns to the 180 circle once again, he lost only by an aggregate of 4 legs as well when you break it down even further.
Well, I have to say,
right and cross.
Yeah, the standout performance. Oh, 4 perfect darts. But no
140.
to start this leg. Good stuff from Mike Dedeker. The standout performance from Dobey in that weekend in Copenhagen for me was his display against Gerwyn Price, where in the semi-finals, I think he won the last 6 legs on the trot.
Yeah,
he was fired up. He decided that he'd try and fight fire with fire in terms of the aggression that Gerwyn brings to the game, and it worked. It really did work, and it was superb.
Yes, it's almost like the playing with fire, playing with a bit of fire in your belly, as we talked about with Van den Bergh earlier. But yeah, there was one moment in that match against Price where he checked out on 1-2-3, and that really just seemed to be the catalyst for the rest of the match, I think, for Dobey.
Yeah, it almost like he punched himself out by the time he got to the final. Dobey Chisnall won it relatively comfortably in the end. So Dobey still searching for that first PDC ranking title.
Yeah, he's been knocking on the door. Dedeker's knocking on the door here as well, but
136.
Dobey has an outside chance with 136 for a break of throw. Ain't going to go now.
He's just consistently being outscored by Mike Dedeker in this game. The averages aren't great, but there have been a lot of missed doubles from both men.
He's on the fifth leg.
Mike does hit
Chris to
that double four to re-establish the lead, but if it wasn't for, 12 missed darts at double for Mike Dedeker, then his average would be well into the 90s.
Did have a couple of 6-5 wins on the way to that final in Copenhagen as well. One of them was against Ricky Evans, the other was in the quarters against Jose de Sousa, who had a terrific weekend of it in Denmark. Just got the impression with Dobey, it was his first European Tour final, maybe just the demands of that final day. Very warm day as well, maybe that just got the better of him. Although Dave Chisnall hasn't been involved in too many Euro finals of late. But in the end, I think Dobey just ran out of steam in that final.
60.
Well, I'll ask a question of you, Rob Malarkey. When was the last time you saw Mike Dedeker win on the European Tour?
Was it, off the top of my head, in Gibraltar last year?
I think it might have been, yeah. So you're looking at more than a year since he won a game on the Euro Tour.
Yeah, that was when it was held in June.
Yeah, beat Matt Paget in the last leg decider. I think he actually survived match darts in that game.
100.
It was also the tournament where Hannah Schneer got a win in slightly less controversial circumstances that we saw in his previous game against Keegan Brown.
Yeah, and it was that tournament that Hannah Schneer explained his tattoo to me as well. Dedeker, 180, livens things up. Dobey, hot under the collar, although there's no collar on that shirt, but you get my drift.
71. I go 120.
And he'll feel the heat here if Dedeker takes out this 120. Can't find the treble. Dobey breathes again.
100.
May have just been a little deflection off that first dart.
Pressure requires 32.
Hollywood for 3-all. Misses inside, misses outside. Misses inside again and missed doubles. Well, both men are missing on the outer ring, but Mike Dedeker can go 2 legs clear here. But he still cannot do it. You see the frustration.
Well, Dobey, 2 from 12 so far. Made that 2 from 13.
He's on the 6th leg.
3 from 14.
To throw first.
Well,
but he should not be in this position. Dedeker should be 4-2 up.
6 legs, every single one of them a hold of throw. I'm still not quite sure how that's happened because there have been so many opportunities, particularly for Mike Dedeker to get that break. And Dobey will come into this as the favourite.
94.
And Dedeker, at some point, he'll be thinking, well, if you don't take your chances against the favourite in these matches, then that's when they'll punish you later on.
96.
Dedeker really tailing off on his second and third dart average. Dobey, however, moving the other way. The first dart average is poor, but he's raising his game with the next 2. That's been the theme of their respective visits so far.
Well, there you see, first 9 average and Chris Dobey. I mean, 91 first 9 average is very poor by his standards. You look at how Chris Dobey has performed on the tour this year, and his
60
overall 3 dart average is 94 and a bit. That's for the whole. That's over 60 games nearly in the Players' Championship event.
So we're putting Chris Dobey in the bracket of 2-month break didn't really do much. Well, not a 2-month break, but the summer break didn't do him too much good.
Doesn't appear to have done so. But then again, it is the first game.
It's a very warm evening, very warm on the stage downstairs.
134.
We're in a slightly elevated position over the top of the stage. It's fairly warm up here as well.
There's no part of Chris Dobey's game where you can point at it in this match and go, well, at least that's working. The first 9 is poor. The setup shots aren't great. The finishing is poor. And yet, it's 3-all here. It's going purely on throw. And that is the only positive that Chris Dobey has right now.
He's on the 7th Mike the Decker. Let Chris to throw first.
I think Dobey will be just relieved that he's only 4-3 down. And if he can build on this...
140.
Well, that's against, you know, had he been playing, let's say,
90.
Dimitri van den Berg, if he'd been playing a different Belgian, this would have been done. This would have been over, and Dobey would have been out. Had he been playing Adam Gaulas, it would have been
91.
over. But he's still in this game. By hook or by crook, as our commentator would probably put it.
He would. Sloppy visit here from Dobey so far.
40.
Just 40 scored as well. Chance opens up for De Decker.
Well, yeah, you can see the frustration there because
93.
he would have liked to stay on the treble 20, and if he pinned it second dot, he could then look at the ball and get down to a finish. But he covered it and thought, well, at least I'll go for the open trebles and see what I can do.
40.
Now, Dobey has left himself a two-darter, but to be honest, in this match, nobody has really looked likely to take out a checkout like that. The highest checkout we've seen in this match has been 40.
90.
Is that going to change on the ball? No.
65. Mike require 84.
De Decker back in business, and he's looking at double 12, and he's looking at double 6 for a 5-3 lead.
78.
And it's been the recurring theme from pretty much the word go in this match for Mike De Decker and for Chris Dobey to an extent as well. Double 8 now for Dobey, and this time Dobey makes the most of that huge let-off. And Decker once again left to reflect on what might have been. Should have had this wrapped up by now, no doubt about it.
Well, he's 5 points clear in the averages, but unfortunately both men have finished so poorly in this match.
60.
17 missed darts double for Mike De Decker, 13 misses for Chris Dobey. So 30 darts missed in total between these two. And yes, Dobey will come off. And he might win this game, and he might say, well, I've missed loads of chances. But he knows he'll have been lucky, because Mike has missed plenty to break the Dobey throw.
Yeah, nothing under 16 darts as well. That is also a fairly good illustration of the sort of match we've been served up here tonight. Neither player covering themselves in any sort of glory whatsoever. I think this one is just all about coming through and getting the job done.
Well, look, I mean, in terms of the averages, I mean, it's probably marginally better from what we've just seen between Hannah Schneer and Keegan Brown. But I tell you what, that was gripping, because there was all sorts going on in that game. But here, it's like two players sleepwalking towards a finishing line. And it's whoever manages to stumble across it first. And at the moment, it looks like it's going to be Mike De Decker, because he's just about doing enough to give himself enough chances to win legs. That could change here. 120 a lot more easy than 129.
Tops for De Decker.
81.
Yeah,
well, that is just indicative of what has gone before. 129 for Dobey, 110 for Dobey. Finds the treble 20. Now looking at the big red button in the middle of the board. That was a bounce out from 25.
I think it might have been a
Maybe
bounce out
outside as well.
8 or the 7.
Road whistle right on the cue there. Double 10 for De Decker. Dimitri van den Berg acknowledges that one as well. 5-4. Who will blink first in the closing stages of this one? Dobey needs to come good again. He has not led at any stage of this match. We've had 9 holes of throw from the word go. De Decker has been continually pegged back. He's failed to take his opportunities to secure the breakthrough. Dobey is just about hanging in there.
99.
The world number 25 is in a spot of bother here. Needs to win 2 on the bounce, and that ain't going to help.
123. Good recovery. 134.
Well, there haven't hasn't been many great scoring visits from Chris Dobey in this match. Every time he chucks one, Mike De Decker seems to chuck one back at him. If that happens again here, De Decker is going to get to a finish, and he has done it again. He has done it again. Halves his score, leaves 1-3-4. And he's going to get a look at this 1-3-4, and Mike De Decker has got options here. Look, nothing in this game suggests this is going to go. But darts is odd. He's surprised. It's astonished him. He's hit it. But he also doesn't like the lie. And yet he needs to stay there to leave the double. Well, that's why he's moved. He wanted to stay there to leave double 16, but not for the first time in this game. He's not liked how the dart has gone in the board and dropped, and he's worried about it falling out, which is why he moved to the 19s.
And that was something Luke Humphries touched upon in the aftermath of his anxious win over Jamie Hughes as well. Dobey once again looking at the centre of the board, and this time it is the 25. And De Decker returns looking at a more orthodox 48. Double 16 for Mike De Decker. Long way inside. Moves upstairs for double 8s. And guess what? He's missed it again.
2 match darts missed by Mike De Decker. 48 ridiculously would have been the highest check out of the match, and it would have won him the match. But Dobey to take us all the way to a last leg decider. And he's done it. Hollywood, Chris Dobey, and Mike De Decker, the real deal, are having a real ordeal here in Vienna. It has been hard work as George Funf Noble takes us to a last leg decider.
And it's a decider that De Decker wants to wrap up ASAP out of the blocks. Sharpish with a 180. What has Dobey got in response? Not a great deal is the answer.
4. But no more perfect darts to start the leg for Mike De Decker. And look, this game has been such a struggle. He's dragged his average up to 90. He's missed 21 darts at double. He has outscored Chris Dobey for so much of this match. And yet, only a second 180 from Dobey might just give him a sniff.
93.
De Decker does look a little bit ruffled, doesn't he? He just shaked Dobey off, but Dobey.
97. Well, you've got 146.
Well, it's a finish for Dobey. It's a prospect. It's a possibility.
130.
Great setup shot. One of the best visits we've seen in this match, particularly given the context. And De Decker is going to get more match darts. He's already missed 2. But Chris Dobey, I mean, he's probably lucky to have got to this stage of the game. But that is the end of it, a 13-darter. That's the best we've seen. Mike De Decker managing to get over the line, just not at the races tonight, Chris Dobey.